In today's video, we're going to be giving you the best settings you need as soon as you drop in for the new Battlefield Battle Royale RedSec. Whether you're playing on console or PC, these settings are going to give you buttery smooth frames, clean visuals, and crispy aim assist if you play on controller, so you can compete with the mouse and keyboard players that have already been playing this game. Battlefield Battle Royale is completely free to play, so we're going to kind of cross these settings up between PC and console players. So just follow along, go step by step. We'll have the chapters in here so you can skip around if you need to, but this video is going to walk you through controller tuning, graphics optimization if you're on PC or console, and the best performance settings. So drop a like if you're excited for this game. Let's get into it. Turn menu narration and subtitles off. You can copy these subtitle settings. These really don't matter that much. I don't use subtitles much at all unless you're playing the campaign. My master volume I have set to 80. Tinnitus sound effects volume, I don't really touch this. It's just 100. Same with the tinnitus relief frequency. Right here in the accessibilities tab, we have the graphic quality settings for color profiles. So we're going to go through this and we'll kind of double up on some of this. So be aware of that later in the video. So if you miss something right here, we will touch on it again later in the video. Go ahead and set your world brightness to around 60. This is completely up to you whether you're playing on a TV, monitor, whatever, but I have mine set to 60. I'm playing on a PC monitor. For our color profiles, our color presets I have set to custom. This is kind of what those are going to look like. My primary color I have set to white. Basically, these are going to be kind of faded out right now. So just go in there, go to player color and set this to whatever color it's at. Just set it to the brightest possible. My squad color I have set to bright green. Friendly color I have set to bright blue. Bright red for the enemy. Neutral color I have set to white, or like a gray. Accent color I have set to yellow. Soft armor color I have set to blue as well. Hard armor color I have set to purple or magenta, and then warning color I have set to orange. Next we'll go into our camera effects here. World motion blur I have set to 0. Weapon motion blur 0. Infantry HUD motion I have set to off. Camera shake amount you have set to 50. Reduce sprint camera bobbing, this is pretty important. You want to set this to on. That way while you're sprinting there's not a lot of camera bob movement. Now if you're in for full immersion, you shouldn't be doing any of these settings. Just go in and play, which is totally cool. And we'll set these two to off. Let's just go ahead and go to our gameplay tab. Invert all vertical look I have set to off. Vertical look settings, you can go in here and you can copy these down, but in vertical flight aircraft I do have on, but everything else I have off. Capture area outline I have set to on. For our infantry settings, I have infantry aim sensitivity set to 38. Infantry mouse aim sensitivity, completely up to you. This is set around 20 for me, but that's completely up to you mouse players. If you want to drop your best mouse settings down below, go for it. Maybe somebody else will find those helpful. Double tap forward sprint, have set this set to off. Crouch toggle sprint I have set to crouch. Vault over sprint set to on. Sprint door barge on. Double tap crouch for sprint slide off. Parachute auto deploy skydive / insertions. Roll camera in landing roll set to on. Mount type set to side and up. Mount breakout set to instant. Mount preset set to combo. Peak type set to side and up. Interact and reload set to prioritize interact. Invert demolition charge set to off. These are kind of the vehicle's sensitivities that I have. These I didn't really touch that much. Helicopter controller assist I have on. I'm going to need the help. For aim assist I have BF1 and BF4. These just felt really solid to me. Then for the vehicle aim assist, zoom snap. Infantry aim assist slow down, I have all these set to 100. Infantry zoom aim input curve I have set to standard. That's just the best. I didn't really touch that at all. Felt pretty good. Vehicle aim input curves have set to standard as well, and all of this set to 100. Now go over here to controller. The main thing that we're going to touch when it comes to the battle royale is the soldier input. For control settings, we'll go back in here. Infantry aim sensitivity set to around 38 like we talked about. Field of view I have set to 110. 110 is plenty right here. We're not in Warzone, we're not in Call of Duty. If you go to 120 that's fine, but you're gonna have a harder time seeing a little further distance. Vertical aim ratio I have it set to about 56. Zoom sensitivity coefficient set to 178. All of this set to 100. Infantry aim input curve like we talked about, BF1, BF4, and then the stick input acceleration presets, BF4, BF3, and then Battlefield Bad Company, and then the aim left right acceleration set to 100. Infantry sprint set to toggle. Double tap forward to sprint off. Sprint set to left stick forward. Crouch toggle sprint set to crouch. Vault over sprint on. Slide we have set to our right stick press. For our zoom we have infantry weapon zoom hold, zoom L2, steady scope hold, steady scope left stick press. Infantry zoom aim sensitivity I have this 90. You can go ahead and mess with all these, start at around 80 or 90 on all these, and then just work your way up the better they feel inside the firing range. But right now I just have these all set to 100. One of the most important settings you want to have is the request revive hit to toggle. That way you can press it and stay alive a little longer, and then you can just basically copy the rest of these settings right here. Now you can go over the individual vehicles and things like that if you want to. Completely up to you there. I didn't touch really any of this stuff. I didn't mess with any of these. These aren't the only thing maybe we can mess with is going to be your ground vehicles, which will be the tank and things like that. But other than that, nothing's crazy in there. We're going to go over here to controller tuning. Actually, this will have the joystick stuff in here as well. In the controller tuning, we want to go controller vibration off. Obviously, we've already talked about this. Vibration intensity I have it set to off. Adaptive triggers, weapon fire 0. Adaptive trigger, weapon zoom 0. My left stick center dead zone we have set to about 4 or 5. If you have more stick drift, you want to bump these up until your player or aim stops moving on its own. Axial dead zone, I have mine set to 5 here, and then max input threshold I have set to 60. Right stick, I have center dead zones to 8, axial dead zone to 5, and then the max input threshold to around 90. Left trigger dead zone, I have all of this stuff you want to set to as low as possible, as low as it'll go. This will make your controller so much more responsive. It just feels super snappy. One thing I want to touch on, and it has to do with snipers. This will be pretty key if a sniper has especially if you go and you get a rangefinder on your sniper, you want to go to the controller mapping, which is the infantry passenger control mapping. I do have a couple of these set to specific ones. If you want to copy these are great. These really feel really smooth to me. I'm still kind of working on it a little bit, but these really feel solid. But I'll just go ahead and scroll through most of this. That way you guys can copy it if you need those kinds of things. But there is one specific one that we want to go over, and that has to do with sniping, and that's the rangefinder zeroing if zoomed. Now I have my hold breath to left stick press. You want to match this with the rangefinder zeroing if zoomed to your left stick press as well. Whatever your hold breath for your sniping is, you want the same map. So simply click in here, press any button to bind it, and it'll come up like this. It'll say duplicate found. Perfectly fine. Just hit bind anyway. This is pretty huge because this will automatically zero in how the distance it will take to hit your target. This is going to be key, I think, especially in Battle Royale, and might be a little broken at the first. So we'll see what they kind of do with this. Now we'll go over here to the kind of the graphic settings. This will be a graphic settings tab. My performance preset, go ahead and set these to custom if you're on PC. If you're on console, you're going to have all of these pretty much just already default anyway. For your graphics quality settings, I have a lot of this set to ultra. Completely depends on your specs. I get my PCs from Zydax.com. You can use the code MrMarvel at checkout in order to get a pretty hefty price off your new PC. But again, this game is super high quality. The visuals are high quality. You'll be totally okay if you set these to low, to be honest, because the visuals in this game are just that high quality. But I have texture quality ultra. Most of these are going to be ultra high, ultra volumetric quality, all this kind of stuff. If you want the best performance, go ahead and mess with these in this video memory bar at the bottom right. Get it as low as you can get it with the game looking good, and you'll be just fine. But I'll go ahead and scroll through here so you guys can kind of copy all of these settings right here. But that's kind of my advice when it comes to the personal graphics settings. It'll come out and say reload required. It's not an update, requires restart. For my world brightness, again, we have this set to 60. UI and sharpness have this set to 50. Go to advanced right here. Fixed resolution scale, I have this set to 100. No need to mess with that. Frame rate limiter, if you want that on, you can definitely have that on. Set it to whatever you need. That way you don't go past a certain frame rate, and you can kind of control the output of your PC. NVIDIA Reflex low latency. If you are CPU based, you want this set to enable. If you're not CPU based, set this to enable plus boost, and then you can just copy all of the rest of these settings. Nothing crazy here. Again, field of view set to 110. Vehicle third person field of view set to max. Weapon field of view wide. Motion blurs are all off. Camera shake 50. Reduce sprint camera bobbing completely on. All of this set to off. And then my display is borderless. You can do full screen, borderless, or windowed. I have mine set to borderless. Full screen resolution, have all of this set to auto. Everything else will just kind of take care of itself, whatever monitor you have. Interface and HUD, these are kind of my interface and HUD settings. Nothing crazy there. My horizontal HUD padding, I have all this set to 0. I'm keeping pretty much all of this default, so nothing crazy changes here. The only thing I kind of want and changed is the vehicle HUD colors. I wanted to make sure to make these brighter, so we just turn these all the way up. Now this is a pretty important one as well. Icon intensity, I have this set to 60. HUD icons, I have all of this nothing's really customized here. I don't really touch this, but the big deal is get back down to it here, the crosshairs and indicators. This is a pretty big one for me. For crosshair opacity, I have this set to 100. Crosshair intensity, I have set to 60. For me, this is a pretty important thing, and that's the crosshair color. I want this pretty bright, especially if you're looking up in the sky, somebody's dropping in, or somebody's dropping out of a heli, whatever is dropping out of the sky. I want this to be as bright as possible. That way I can, obviously you're going to be aiming down sight, but I like to have all of this set to bright. That way in dark places, bright places, I can see it no matter what. I have this set to a very bright blue, very bright teal color, put it that way. Simply drag it there. Another color I recommend is the magenta color. It just depends on kind of what you want. I have mine set to a bright blue. Crosshair thickness, I have set to default, but it'll look kind of like this here in the shadow if you can see this right here. And then the hit indicators, opacity I've set to 160, hit color I've set to white. My headshot color I've set to green. Green means go. That's kind of how I look at that there. Kill color I've set to red. Armor soft hit color I've set to blue. And the armor hard hit color, I come over here from Warzone. So something like a 2-plate system where we have back there is kind of the hard armor of Warzone. So I have this kind of set to an orange color, but I think the base default is purple. So just set it to the highest color of purple that they have. But mine right now is set to a bright orange. Armor broken hit indicator I've set to on. Hit indicator numbers on. Everything else here is pretty standard. Definitely want small number sizes so things don't get too choppy as you're hitting your enemy. And then all of this is completely the same. Now for the audio settings, this is pretty standard. I have 80 for my master volume, sound effects volume. Of course, you want that all the way to 100. You want to hear footsteps. Music is great in Battlefield, but it's not going to be for Battle Royale. If you're new to Battle Royale and you haven't played a Battle Royale before, maybe you're a Battlefield player, you're coming over here, first time playing a Battle Royale, music volume ain't it. You want to have this as low as possible. If you like the immersion, you want all the music, you want all the sounds, screw it. Turn it all the way up. Completely up to you. If it was AC/DC, I'd have it all the way up too. But I have this all the way down. Commander VO volume, soldier, sound effects volume, all that set to 100. Controller speaker volume all the way 100. That is all good to hear. Hit indicator, obviously you want that on. Sound system, when it comes to your headphones, things like that, I have mine set to stereo or literally set it to headphones and default mix. The other one, war tapes, if you just like want all the immersion, war tapes is pretty fun, but default mix is kind of what I leave it on. And then I have mine set to stereo again or headphones. All this voice chat stuff, completely up to you. If you have trouble hearing your teammates or you have trouble talking to your teammates, change your input device. Make sure your input device is your main input device. Microphone mode, set this to open mic. If you're on console, you should be good to go. You're probably in a party anyway. Voice chat ducking, I've set to 0. Voice chat volume, have set to 100. Enable voice chat, obviously want that on. And again, music radios, I have those set to off. You don't want any of that extra music in your ear so you can hear all the enemies and call outs around you. System, if you want streamer mode on, anonymous mode on, all that kind of stuff, maybe you're a creator, you're watching this and you want to not get noticed or whatever like that, streamer mode, set that to on, you'll be good to go there. But that's all the settings that you're going to need to drop in ready to go by the time you get home from work, home from school, trying the new Battlefield Battle Royale RedSec. I'm having a ton of fun. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it plays out with the community and things like that. If you like this style of video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, hit that noti bell for more Battlefield content. We'll see you in the next one.